Sex in the city, it has changed. The property market has rapidly changed in the last 18 months. And is it going to change much in the next 18 months and 36 months ahead or the years ahead? We're going to talk about it right now. Stay tuned.
Sex in the City, James. Hello, how are you?
Good, buddy. Episode 454. Interesting, hey, because the conversation, guys, ladies and gentlemen, that we had this morning was we've got a property for sale at the moment right on Circular Quay. Now, we regard this real estate as the Rolls-Royce of real estate. Internationally, locally, it's always been the Rolls-Royce of real estate, like the toaster around the Opera House that extends on the Opera House. Some of the most amazing property in Australia, probably the most amazing property in Australia. Yeah. And our conversation was, is it going to come back? Is it going to be like it was? And is it a counterintuitive or a very good time to be buying this sort of stock?
Yeah, well, this client of ours purchased it 5 years ago. And 5 years ago from today, the city was a very different place. You probably paid, not overs, but you probably paid a premium then. Nowadays, city prices probably haven't reached their heights of the past, but what's going to spur that to come back? It's undoubtable that the city will return to 95% at least, surely, Mark. So counterintuitive to purchase in the city at the moment? Probably. Is the city going to come back? You've got to be certain of it, surely.
You know what? I think that, look, it's pretty obvious there was this huge shift, guys, and I'd love to know what people out there are thinking. Give us your comments. But I think that if you look at, in essence, what the makeup of a city anywhere in the world, the function of a city anywhere in the world, even the climate of a city anywhere in the world, like transport into the city anywhere in the world. This has been evolutions, like for Sydney City, this has been a 200-year evolution. And it's got to this point, it's actually improved year after year after year. The ferry service improved. The tram service has now gone in, the tram or whatever they call it goes into Randwick. You've got the traffic light, traffic systems, security of the city. You've got the eateries in the city. You've got the businesses in the city. We've spent 200 years getting here, and is that going to be ripped apart or blown up over 18 months of a virus? I honestly don't think so, mate.
Well, that's the DNA of Sydney as a whole. That's where it all stems from. That's where it all starts from, for the most part. So, a place like that, and just to give everyone a bit of context, I'll see if I can bring the photos up, Mark, and just share the screen and give everyone an idea of the caliber of the property that we're talking about. But Circular Quay, Harbour Bridge views, it's the centre of the universe in Sydney.
It is, and our borders are closed, guys, obviously our international borders. It lends me to think that that type of stock was very much the jewel in the crown of like an Asian sort of family, or someone coming out of Shanghai, someone coming out of China, sometimes a European family, where it was really the jewel in the crown or the pin-up poster for a lot of families to own this sort of stock. Just let me have a look at our comments. Luke, how are you, buddy? Sex in the City this morning. Sean, good to see you, legend. And Nikki, hello. It's good morning, gentlemen. Definitely coming back. So guys, you reckon the city is going to have legs? Because I guess, look, it all stems off capital growth, and if we have we expected our property market to double every 10 years. That expectation of the CBD is not there for people now. It probably hasn't had negative growth in the city, but I think it actually has had a lot lower growth than any other parts of the city. The sea change and tree change attitude of people buying, or pattern of people buying in the last 18 months, doesn't make sense in the city. There's no bloody trees, and there's no sea there either. So I guess, that coming back in the future, and I reckon when those international borders open, James, I reckon watch out.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's going to open the market wide open again. And we're seeing, and particularly from a lot of the buyers agents that we work with, because we're not necessarily in contact with these sort of expats, but there's a lot of people that are looking to purchase back into Sydney and Australia. And whether they are expats from Australia, or if there are people from America, Asia, looking for a fresh start in Sydney after what's happened. We've talked about this plenty before, but Australia looks pretty damn attractive. Sydney looks pretty damn attractive. And for those people that are in that 0.01%, not even the 0.1%, the ones that are going to be coming in to buy the top of the top, the best of the best, what better place to go?
So would you put your money there?
It's a good question.
And this is off the attitude that you're buying low because people have ran from the city for the last 6, 12, 18 months. So you're buying at a low, and this is with the attitude that once those international borders open up, then you're going to start getting punters from around the world coming in and buying that Rolls-Royce property in the city. I think it's actually a pretty good bet. I think Luke's there. Luke's saying 2 to 3 years down the track. I think buying that sort of stock could be a really, really, really good purchase. Now you're going to get pretty punished on rents as well, yeah, James.
Well, that's the argument at the moment, that you probably will be, and that's going to take a little while to come back, but you probably don't buy these properties for positive gearing purposes anyway. It is that long-term side of it. So, you probably will struggle for a while.
You know what? Off the back of that, it may be a really bloody good time to go and rent in the city. If you've had it in your DNA the last 5 or 10 years to have a stint in the city, there's no cheaper time now. There's no cheaper time ever than now to go and rent something like that. If you want to rent a studio with beautiful views to the bridge, or 1 better, a 2 better, a 3 better, whatever in the city, now is just a brilliant time to go in there and have some fun. You got all that food, you got waterways around you, the harbour, entertainment, awesome transport. Not a bad time to go and rent.
Yeah, and it's a bloody good city to be living in. And if you haven't had that little taste of what it's like in the CBD, you're absolutely right. I hadn't thought about that, Mark, that, you probably get the bargain of your life comparatively to what Sydney rents will ever be again. So, that's another really good point. And we always talk about try before you buy. You never know. Maybe the tree change wasn't all it was cut out for you, and you do want to be a city rat, and that's fine. Go and take advantage of it whilst you can.
Okay, here are some stats on Sydney. Here are some stats on Sydney City, right? I've got them here. So, in the unit market in the last 10 years of Sydney CBD, so the unit market was at an all-time high at the beginning of COVID. It was sitting at 1.14 as a median price for a unit. So about $1.2 million you're buying a unit pre-COVID. Now you're buying the same unit for 104. So it's about a 15% difference in pricing. Yeah. On that, number of sales is down by 60% over the last year. So there's been a massive shortage of stock in that marketplace. Days on market, stuff selling quicker, but still 58 days, a long time to sell something in the city. Median vendor discount is up. They're having clients are having to discount their properties a lot more in the city of Sydney to get it sold. The rental yield, here's a wow.
That's the biggest we've seen. Yeah. 40.
Look at the rental yield.
5.6% people.
You can't see that there in red. It can't focus the poor phone. 40. Your rents are 40% lower than what they were the year before in the city. That goes back exactly what we just said on renting in the city, buying in the city. Could be a bloody good time. We should be spruiking the northern beaches, but we just found this really interesting for our city of Sydney. Total value of properties sold are down by 30%. New listings coming to the market are up, and stock on market is up. 2.5% of the total stock is on the market in the Sydney City. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. In summary, what are we saying, Mr. Lamplow?
Is it counterintuitive to purchase in the city? Yes. Is it a good time to go and dip your toe into the city life if you want to rent cheap and, just experience a little bit of a different way of Sydney life? Definitely. Think outside the square, people. What one's that we've got there, Mark? Median value.
Price. That's the correction that the city's had.
Yeah, wow. 2016.
Compare that to DY. Well, look at DY units the last 10 years. That last bit.
Yeah.
Up high.
Isn't that crazy? When you actually see that, when you compare DY to Sydney itself, Sydney CBD, times have changed. But
DY has done 95% over 10 years. DY has done, and our city has done 63%.
Yeah, but times will keep changing.
Put that over $1 million.
Yeah, it's big money.
So if you bought $1 million apartment in the city 10 years ago, it'd be worth $630,000 more. If you bought $1 million apartment in DY, it'd be worth $950,000 more than what you actually paid for it.
Yeah. So compare that.
So that's
Go on then. So I was going to say, if you compare that, you purchase in the city and you're expecting, good growth, good return. 15 years later, and it's worth 150% less than you'd expect. Is that right? Anyway, interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Well, basically, your money's gone on $1 million. If you bought something for $1 million in DY, you'd have almost $1 million back, plus $1 million. But here in the city, you'd have $650,000 back. So there's a bit of a difference there in pricing. But look, I just think in summary, guys and girls, you're punting buying in the city, but I think it's actually not a bad little punt. And I reckon when those international borders open, watch out.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Ledge. Cheers.